refining crude oil in that way, and you are getting PMS. There's also like the chemical gas or something that comes out of that, right? Which show that indeed you are actually doing refining. So the bottom line is, yeah, you may see tankers pretending to be loading fuel from their gantry. But the truth is that when you sell these lies, you need many, many other lies or layers of lies to cover the original lie. Meanwhile, outside those lies lies the paper trail of how much of this product that have been imported into Nigeria using what is called the dollar subsidy, by the way. So Nigeria will make it. For Nigeria to make it slightly, these guys must face a firing squad. No jail for them. Just confiscate every of their properties in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, and then send them straight to Babish and let them face the firing squad. Like, no jail at all. Don't send them to jail. These are the people that want you to be patriotic. How do you be patriotic to a country that is the whole Nigeria for Jugula ni? Economically, Nigeria is finished. Done for. So no amount of lies that is going to take that away. No amount of propaganda that is going to change that. So when we tell you that Nigeria is hopeless, Nigeria is helpless, it is not out of, it's not coming from a place of animosity. No. It is coming from the place of sincerity, honesty, and bluntness. These guys, they do not deserve any jail term. No. Straight up firing squad, death by hanging. You know? It's unfortunate. Yesterday, Omoyele Sowore was on X, which is a Twitter. By the way, I don't know if any of you on Twitter, if you have seen this, my Egun's Diary Politico. They don't do me shaggy, man. Somehow, I want to believe that my Egun's Diary Politico has been hacked. That's my belief, because I went to check, right? Even though I have no access to it anymore, okay? So I went to check and I realized that somehow I am no longer following anybody. And I didn't do that. Right? See, zero, I'm gonna says 0 following. On my Egun's Diary, 0 following. That's strange. Anyway, Omoyele Sowore was on X, Twitter, right? And there were so many questions. It was all about the police criminality, the police corruption, and all, what have you, especially this Ibetokun, illegal police IG, a man that has spent over 33 years as a police officer. He was supposed to have got on this. He was supposed to have gone on retirement leave as far back as April, and he was supposed to have retired by September 2024. But somehow, Tinubu extended this stay, and then he forged his own police record to make him look like, you know what, he's going to retire in October 2027 after their 2027 charade. So Sowore has been on him. Then a lady asked Sowore about why did Sowore say Peter Obi's you obedient to listen to? Because I don't know if you were part of that chat yesterday. It's quite an interesting one, right? So Sowore told them that Peter Obi agenda was actually an agenda to make Tinubu president. In his own explanation, he said, Obasanjo, the Obankparo himself, and others who pretended to want a better Nigeria per se, decided to back Obi so that it will help them divide the potential advantage that Atiku may have in the eastern Nigeria and the middle belt of Nigeria. In his own explanation, I want you to listen. I know this may rise some of you up, right? Well, I want you to listen first, okay, to what he had to say. The question and his answer is ridiculous.
Kemi?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Sowore, and I must say that I commend you. You are a very bold person. I mean, with everything that these people do to you, you still come out with guns blazing every single time. I mean, the most recent one was just really amazing. So I just want to ask you one question and maybe a follow-up later if I have time. So you said people like Obasanjo, Babangida, and the rest of them, the people that control like power at the top in Nigeria, brought out Peter Obi just so that Tinubu will eventually win. So I'm just wondering if you would explain to us what was their end game, because I like to think, and I believe you because you know a lot of things, you have a lot of contacts in some of these places, but I'm just thinking people like Obasanjo with some of their body language, I'm not quite sure I trust Babangida so much, but Obasanjo has also been at loggerheads with Tinubu right from the days of when he was the first president in 1999. All that fight he had with Tinubu when Tinubu was the governor and all of that. So I would like to believe that they are not really good. But, to think that Peter Obi was used, because Peter Obi came like towards the end of 2022, that's when the movement really, really became serious. I also agree with you that, Labour Party, gave him I'm a Peter Obi supporter. I voted Peter Obi, I'll vote him again. And I see your comments, I see, all the jabs that you threw at him. I would like to believe that if we are really, really going to maybe okay, yes, my time is up. If we're going to take over power, if we are not going for Peter Obi, who do we go for? But I also want you to answer, why do you think that Obasanjo also, was tricked the people? Because I don't think that Obasanjo actually wanted Tinubu to become the president. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. At least you admit to something that I know these people more than most people, because I have been a student of Nigerian politics since 1989. When I entered the university, I started immediately when I was 19 years old, but I didn't get to be doing national politics until 1992 when I became the president of the student union. And where I wanted to look is this: who were the major candidates in 2023? It was Tinubu, Atiku, and Peter Obi was later on, after he lost out from the PDP as a candidate, when he knew that he wasn't going to, he left and went to Labour Party. Obasanjo's biggest enemy in Nigeria is not Tinubu, it's Atiku. Obasanjo prefers a Tinubu to be president of Nigeria than Atiku because he knew that if Atiku has one more day to die, he will kill Obasanjo before he dies, because of what Obasanjo did to ruin his political career from 2007 or 2003 in particular, when he was vice president to Obasanjo. Most of you didn't know, but I covered their fight. It was probably the worst fight in the political history of this country, and it's nothing comparable to the fight that Obasanjo had with Tinubu. So, and he has looked at it geographically and knew that Atiku had sufficient influence, if you are not careful, to win the election. But if they take out the East and the South, and the Middle East, the Middle Belt, where there are Christians, because the Christians in the Middle Belt were oppressed. They have been oppressed. Southern Kaduna, Taraba, Plateau, Benue. They've had issues of oppression with Fulani herdsmen and domination. And now they have to deal with the Muslim ticket. They couldn't stand it. Obasanjo to religious leaders, especially all the GOs, reached out to them and said, look, we have to take Atiku, don't support Tinubu. But Obasanjo, being a Yoruba man, is still comfortable with another Yoruba man being president than for an Atiku who he know will strangulate him to be president. And I'm sure it was part of the calculation that that idea of breaking the back of Atiku cannot happen without introducing Obi into the equation. And if you look at the people who they surrounded Obi with, you will understand this. Doyin Okupe was appointed by Obasanjo, but he was close to Tinubu. Pat Utomi, who took Peter Obi to Labour Party and claimed that he stepped down for him because Pat Utomi claimed at Labour Party convention, which they did wuru quickly, that he stepped down for Peter Obi. He is one of the closest person to Tinubu. In fact, there's still a video online where Tinubu was dancing and Utomi was dancing with him and Larry Banjo. You guys probably know Larry Banjo, but I saw him recently at Ganifa Ome event. So all these things did not happen by accident.
Sowore. I mean, I could sit down and put together some conjectures better than what Sowore was trying to see, like, sew together in that, in his state. It's more or less like he's struggling to put together pieces of conjectures and just to make it sound like intelligible or something. And without dismissing everything, that could be iota of, a bit of a truth. But what Sowore was saying in that, saying there was pretty much like a conjectures, right? I understand that he has his own reservations, right, for these rogues in that contraption, no doubt. But if all of us want to be honest, when Peter Obi was in their PDP, he was among the first set of people to declare that they wanted to be president. In fact, he was the only person who actually traveled to all states in Nigeria. I don't know if some of you will remember that. That traveled to all states in Nigeria, meeting the supposed PDP delegates in every state. Even with the wicked didn't do that. Atiku didn't do that. Then we also witnessed when the wicked launched the campaign of calumny against him, until when they told him point blank that when he told them he had no money to share, and then they told him he should not waste his time. Yeah. And then we also witnessed how maybe Sowore is trying to downplay the influence of the Obidient on Obi himself. But it's always good that some of us who witnessed all that happened, right? We can still tell you how it happened without having to put up a conspiracy theories, conjectures that which kind of like align with our sentiments. Yeah, Obasanjo may not want Atiku, but it wasn't morally right for anybody around that time to expect that a Fulani man, Bokwari, will finish 8 years and then everybody will back another Fulani from the northern part of Nigeria again. It wasn't really plausible. It wasn't. However, the influence of the Obidient around that time was really massive. That they actually called on Obi to leave PDP. They were shouting it, leave PDP, leave PDP. And around the time, there were few political parties that were calling him to come to them. Oh yes, there is, an established relationship between Pat Utomi and Tinubu. as part of the establishment, of course. Doyo Kuigbe, who is also part of the establishment. I mean, I was among those who kind of called out the Obidient around the time that what exactly is wrong with some of you that the criminals, known criminals in Nigeria, the moment they pretended to be part of you, then all of their known criminality are totally forgiven. How many of you will remember that? Right? That the criminals in Nigeria, once they join you, the Obedient, their crimes are forgiven. And you are, in fact, ready to defend them. So Kuigbe was one of them. Now, yeah, behind the scene, I would say there are those who influenced in the political side, which is kind of like a normal thing in Nigeria, right? Where you have to speak to the establishment. If you have a few of them on your side, then they'll begin to want to soften the ground for you or something like that. Something that a Sowore would never associate with. I mean, he would never want to do anything or have anything to do with them. It's kind of ironical as well, by the way. Here you get that Omoyele Sowore that sees these organized criminals as for who they are, okay? And then want us to possibly believe that having anything to do with them is contrary to anyone's belief that they want a better Nigeria. But the same Sowore is very comfortable with Wole Soyinka. Wole Soyinka is part and parcel of the ruiners, the criminals of Nigeria. He is. Wole Soyinka has used his own influence to protect these criminals, to vie for them. But Sowore has no problem with Wole Soyinka. He is Soyinka's friend. So it's kind of ironical, like, you know. So the point I'm trying to make here is that there may be some behind the scene arrangement, because I am aware of when Obasanjo was talking to some of the supposed players, including Werewike, when they moved Obi and what have you to London to go and meet with Werewike. I share that on this platform. So Obi is one person who believes that yes, these political class are criminals, but at the same time, right, they can be useful for something, like for the greater good. And that is why he has pledged that he will never punish them for the crimes they've committed against Nigeria. Yeah, that is on record. But nobody should, for any reason, downplay the influence of the Obidient in the scheme of things, including Obi himself declaring that he wants to run for office. That wasn't him. We are kind of like aware how the whole pressure started. Everything started with this, the Obidient movement, that the movement that later became the Obidient movement. Don't downplay that. Okay? Don't downplay that. Don't use conjectures like, they brought him out so that Tinubu can. Yeah, this is the argument of the SPV boys, the Articulutas as well, because they will never forgive Obi. Yeah, they won't. But let's listen to the rest of it. Sowore and his conjectures.
So all these things did not happen by accident. Even the guy that replaced Okupwe, when Peter Obi realized Okupwe was stealing money from his campaign, they got Okupwe convicted. I'll tell you the story who convicted Okupwe in the future. But without even going too far, Okupwe was convicted by the judge who tried me for treason, Justice Ijoma Ojukwu. Ijoma Ojukwu is the wife of Professor Ojukwu. Professor Ojukwu works at Bayes University. Bayes University is a university owned by Dati, the vice presidential candidate of Peter Obi. So when they wanted to deal with Okupwe, the judge convicted Okupwe because they couldn't stand Okupwe. Okupwe was stealing campaign money. And you're hearing this from me for the first time. But don't forget, it was the same Okupwe they sent to me to come and join Labour Party and join Peter Obi's campaign. And I said, me? Are you mad? You guys remember when I responded to Okupwe and he never called me back? Because I told him, I said, how dare you, Okupwe, come and tell me to join a campaign that you are part of? That even if the campaign was legitimate. The fact that you are part of it shows that it's a fraud. That is what I told Okupe. And I wrote about it on my Twitter page. Of course, all the people who were supporting Obi were abusing me. They said Okupe was the best thing to happen to them since peanut butter was invented. Even Abure, that was your hero, I was constantly telling you guys that the Labour Party is Airbnb, short renter, that they will soon kick Peter Obi out of the place because he only came to rent it for 2023. Has it not happened? Because I know all the plots that is happening. I know who is involved. It was the same Obasanjo who went to Baba Adebanjo's house after the election was supposedly stolen, that there should not be protest. He doesn't want Nigeria to break up. He has seen civil war before. And that was why the idea of protest was quelled. Because Obasanjo at that point had gained what he wanted most, ensuring that Atiku did not become president. But he didn't mind his townsman, a fellow Yoruba man, being president, because at least they can speak Yoruba to themselves and resolve their